All right, this is the game from May 23rd, the first game against the Nottoway teams. Right off the bat, you're kind of attacking five different people at once. The play was probably just back across the field in front of the goal. Our defense should be up quite a bit. I thought in this game, Brianna had another strong game. Her passes were pretty on point. She used a lot of good weight on them. I thought it was a good game by Jack. Jack does a lot of things well. Before he receives the ball, he looks up. His spacing's good. His communication's good. His passing, he seems to have a good idea when to pass. Again, the defense has to be up here. But you see how he swung wide, threw a hand up, perfect pass by Brianna, and he one-touched that over to Kaysen. Even though it was off target, the idea was good. Everything he did on that play was good. I thought Addison had a good game too. This was a good game for her. Now, I tried to do a little bit of kind of teleprompter editing here. We'll see if I allotted myself enough time. That was an excellent trap by you. I like you cutting back in the inside. A lot of times you kick it outside and you keep going outside, and that's just a bad angle. Again, Brianna just taking that away from them in a pretty on-point pass to Kaysen. There needs to be more left and right movement, though. Everything's just coming straight down the middle. And then right here, look how everyone's straight in a line. Typically with soccer, you want to have a lot better spacing. There's some general rules to have that in the attacking half, horizontally, so left to right, it's divided into 3 zones. And you never want to have more than 3 people in each zone. So technically we're good here horizontally, but really we only play 9 versus 9, so it's really like 2. Then there's a vertical zone, so running from midfield towards the goal, and there's 5 layers here. And you see how everyone is just centered around that one line? You only want 2 people in the same vertical zone, and only Reese is the only one that's not in there. So when you combine the 2 zones, you have all these little sections, and you really only want to have 1 person in each section. So right here, ideally what you'd want is for the players to fan out and fill those other boxes. So you'd have Brianna swing out to the flank there, Harley come near to the screen, I think that's Jack, and it's just creating a vertical pass through people is just very difficult to do. It's not good soccer, and you end up having to have a lot of hero ball. But if you can get your minds wrapped around these zones and just occupying these zones, things come a lot easier. A lot of people just want players to pass. They go, pass it, pass it, pass it. But there's got to be people to pass it to. And if everyone... So when Angel had that, and it's nice to see Angel in a game finally, when Angel had that, not only was all the defense in front of her in a straight line, but all the people she could pass it to was in front of her in a straight line. And it's really not conducive to creating, a passing environment with the team. So even defensively, see how everyone's in that same vertical line there? And obviously, Nottoway is as well. This is good. Jack kicks it out to Walker. Walker with just a second too late. And I think it's because he's not comfortable doing his left foot. That seems to be common with this team. Great deflection by Walker. He needs to do it now. So yeah, you see how he had it in his left foot, and then he had to reposition it to his right because he was more comfortable with it. He would probably do well with, again, some wall work. That was a great pass by Reese, and I think that was a lefty. Kaysen kind of ran in front and took it. And he set himself up for the shot. You can tell by how he flicked it, and then he's always like that ever since, I think we first saw him at U10, maybe U8. Now, again, you guys kick the ball out, they're going to get a goal kick. This is the time not to converge and kind of socialize with your buddies, but to start setting up. Now, ideally, it would be similar to the zones we had on offense. You want to occupy a different zone in defense. Now, when they do their goal kicks, they kind of just kick it right to you guys. It's probably quite disappointing. And they've got, 5 defenders just on the line. Now, right here, I think one thing I'd like you to see is the kick it back to Brianna. You've got a guy on you, and he's a little guy, and he doesn't really do much to stop you. But if you would have kicked it back to Brianna, that allows you to swing up in a position to get open, and then she gets to make a decision. You guys didn't do a lot of passing it, back. You actually did a bit of that, I feel like, in this game to Zach. Maybe later on, although that might have been from like throw-ins. But it's when you've got somebody back there that you can trust, that's often the easiest pass to make, and then you get it to them, and that allows the defense to react. You can see the goal kicks it right to you guys. So this really wasn't a good team to develop stuff on because they didn't force you to be better. Amelia forced you to be better. Love this aggression. Love that aggression. And all the people up front have to do that. I don't know who's supposed to be up front, but yeah, when you've got a team like that, any team really, when you're a forward, an offensive player, one of the most vulnerable times for the other team is when they first gain possession. Now, I like how Jack swings over and he's guarding that far post. Now, they've got, interesting setup. It's, just everyone kind of clumped in front there. When the ball goes out on them, that's you doing a corner kick. It seems like after you do a corner kick, you always just kind of walk back to the middle. And I assume Walker, Case, and say, Dempsey's another corner kick. And you walk all the way back. But really, I would like to see more movement from the players. They really want to stand at the top of the box and then charge in. And I have a little graphic showing it here. Now, I like Jack where he is on the far post, just in case it trickles through. Harley and Walker need, as soon as you start your run, they need to start their run. And then Kaysen, I would like him to swing towards you. Kind of created a little smile there. And that's called checking to the ball. So sometimes you need to have that movement. If Kaysen would have swung around like that, because that gives you an outlet, you can kick it to him, and then he's at a better position to play it into the other guys. But really on that corner, nobody moved. Everyone kind of stood there. Walker started to move. He was the only one that actually did anything, but he did it just a little bit late. And they had the handball, which kind of bailed you guys out. Now again, when you guys are doing these penalty kicks, it's a live ball after you kick it. So if this bounces off the crossbar or bounces off the goalie, you guys want to get that deflection in. And you can see no green moved and no red moved. A little light on the high fives. You get one from Kaysen. But yeah, in those, they're just little tactics that habits you guys got to start developing, is charging in on the goal when they do a penalty kick. Now that went in, and you're pretty much always going to score on those. But if you do hit a crossbar, everyone was flat-footed. Nobody was ready for that. All right, so this is good. You're going, and you see how they all come to you? The play, if you can see it, and there's not much of a window here, but you see how where Walker and Jack went? Now, you didn't really have a window to make that. You could have slowed down your run a little bit and let them catch up. But ideally in that situation, when you've got an inexperienced defense where they all react to you, like bees coming out of a hive, you've got to plop that in the middle, right in that near the top of the box. Kind of a bad touch by Walker. He's got to let that roll by him. All right, in these situations, they call it mark someone. It's basically guard someone. So you guys did a decent job there, everyone guarding one person. See, this you got to cut back in. That was a good hesitation. And that girl took your cookies. But you like to just constantly go outside, 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 and that's a bad angle. Look where Mark and Walker are. Oh, she took her cookies again. Now you got to fight to get that back. You see how you kind of just let her have that, and then she gets a run up the field? I'll prize that ball. All right, this is a green throw. Each one of you want to guard somebody. Well, I guess you're throwing it. Again, they want to move. You want to have movement. I don't think anyone moves here. I think Jack, he signals, and then he kind of moves a little bit. But other than that, you don't get a whole lot. It would have been nice if Angel or Burano would have came up, and then you could have kicked it back to them, playing it backwards. Again, they're doing a throw. You want to guard one person. You don't want to watch eyes. You see how everyone's kind of watching eyes? And I think orange shorts is really tiny. All right, it was good by Harley. Kind of fumbled with it a bit. See, Kaysen probably shouldn't have, just occupied the same space as Walker, because once Walker finally corralled it, there's nobody to kick it to. Now look at the verticality. Remember I said there's vertical zones? Again, we've got mostly all 8 in that same area. You're a little wide, and Jack just came wide there. But had you guys had the spacing, there's more options when you get the ball. So it's not just the kids won't pass or can't pass. It's really, there's not good options for them to pass it. And you can even see, this team, they got the 2 defenders back there just talking. Truthfully, you got to punish them when they do that. The 2 of them are just, by themselves. I don't know if you guys are really capable of doing that. See, you should have swung towards the goal. Ooh, it's a big collision there. The guy's limping it off. All right, so I think you get a free kick here. And it's definitely within your range. Where you are on the right side of the field, you want to kick this with your left foot. You've got such a wider area. Look where their goalie is positioned. Do you see it? He's way on the right side. So in their wall, their kind of porous wall is blocking the right side as well. It's lefty or pass it to your guys. But you kicked it with your right foot towards the right side. That was just kind of poor decision making. That was an excellent trap, but it's the end of the quarter. We got some turbulence. See, yeah, they're giving her way too much time to make a decision, and she didn't make a good one there. Kaysen had some pretty good passes. Well, that wasn't necessarily one of them, but in this game, I remember him doing well with that. He could, I know he kind of envisions himself kind of as an offensive player. He could be a striker if he worked more on his back to the goal. See, I think you should hit Addison. You see how Green's kind of meandering over? I don't know if you're waiting for a whistle. Oh, you're going to Zach. And that's good too. That's kind of an example of back pass. You're passing it backward to a player that you trust. But other than you, nobody did anything. The other 3 offensive players are kind of walking. So you did a nice little run, and he could have kind of flicked it back into you. Zach did a pretty good job with the directional headers today, too. Again, you're going to the side. If you can flick it back into, well, looks like you were taking a shot there. But in that situation when you ran up the sideline, got trapped, turn around, I'm glad you turned around rather than kind of rifling a shot into the side netting. But Zach was there, and if you could have lifted it up and got it over to Kaysen, he was right in the middle. This big guy in Kaysen, they have some pretty good battles today. See again, Osage shouldn't have rushed that. He had time. And lately, I thought in the last couple games, he's been taking his time, making decent decisions. He had that one, look, see how we're kind of congregating there? Again, we've got to be marking a player. Pick a player, communicate, I got him. But, they kick it right to you, or throw it right to you. So they're really not punishing you guys for making mistakes. So you're not going to improve on it. Now again, the danger here, we're all too close. You know, I like your discipline. You're staying space there. Should it go through, it's your job to go in there and attack. Now flick it back to Zach. Yeah, I would have flicked it back to him there. And he got a decent shot. But you saw when Zach got it, and it kind of looked like he just had a sloppy dribble rather than he was passing it to you. His touches are a little long, and I think that's because he's fast. He can always beat people to it. But you could have done a one touch back to him just in front, and he would have had a really good shot to score. That little girl over there is giving it to you. And again, I like what you're doing. See how you're going back over, stretching the field? We need just more people doing that. It opens so much more to everyone's playmaking when there's people in different spots. And it'll stretch out the opposition. And if they don't stretch out, you know, they're in trouble. I think Lily was loading up on a big kick rather than just making a clean kick. Zach tried to get cute there. Again, you can see the scissor doesn't work when it's done stationary. You have to be moving forward when you do it. Ronaldo, he's never just standing there. He's running at you, and then he throws a scissor and then a chop, or maybe even a double scissor. So this is good. You're swinging wide. Kaysen, I think, will see you. Yeah, he sees you, and he puts that perfect. But do you know what happened there?
You stop it.
Well, no. You're supposed to one-time that. That was an awesome cross by Kaysen. And what you should do is run over and say, great cross, Kaysen, I'll get it next time. But you see, your team kind of doesn't have that. They kind of have that later in this game and the next game for two people. But you should go up and thank him. But anyways, you tried to hit it as it was bouncing up. And since it was bouncing up and you hit it, it makes the ball go up. You've got to hit it when it's either at the bottom or it's going down to keep the ball low. Again, you see how the four people gravitate towards you? You finally cut back inside, which I love. You see how much better that was? Not everything gets pushed outside. Really, a lesser amount want to be pushed outside. Unless you've got people making runs down the middle where you can cross it to, and you actually do those crosses. But you see how that opened up for a shot? You do one kind of move, you cut back, and you have a lefty shot. I always prefer the corner kicks to go high. It was good at Kaysen to kind of get that. He got it through, and it was perfectly to Zach. Zach just, his first touch was a little strong, and then he lost control of it. Now, you and Osage got to call each other off. One of you got to call each other off. Probably you should have came off there. But again, that's a communication issue. Just for the heck of it, you see you've got a little bit better spacing up here. But again, you always got to be moving to occupy those zones that I was talking about earlier. So you got to start going to the goal now. Well, now it didn't really, come to anything. But something about throw-ins just draws people towards the side. Kind of looks like the scenes from like The Walking Dead. People are just wandering in. And nobody's moving. Nobody's giving him a different look. And I think he ends up just kind of passing it to himself here. He's going to bounce it off this person. So again, with this, you want to check to the ball or check away. Go towards him or go away. And that will make defenses move, and it will open things up, and it just confuses the defense. Plus, it gives... Yeah, he throws it right at him. Again, you got to go... to the near side, more towards the bottom of the screen. All right, and then what we could have is somebody like Kaylee could flash up a little bit to give her an option upfield. Zach creates a lot of space by running to make space, but that space you can just get by original positioning. And he's looking for people, and nobody's really... everyone's just kind of standing there and walking. You always want to be moving one way or the other. That's what's going to give you an advantage because you get to overload, the defenders. By people swinging over to passing lanes, now, Zach would have outnumbered, you or Zach and Addison would have outnumbered the defender, and it makes it easier to get by. Okay, so Zach's going. You got to cut with him. And really, you can just tell this team's overmatched because they don't get it past midfield. I mean, you pretty much are living down in this end of the field. The only surprise is that it's still 1-0. It's just a lot of discord between you guys. See, we've got 6 people all in that one little flank over there. And again, you want to have, at most, in the vertical one, so the left and right, you want to have 2 people through the entire length of the field. And that's when you play 11s. So again, you see how the Nottoway, their whole team kind of just gravitates towards the ball. You should have stayed in the middle. Granted, nothing came of it. All right, so Zach's going to do this corner kick. You're going to occupy the far post, and that's good. But we want to have people line up in front of the goal and kind of run in. Now, Zach does like to do a short pass every now and then. The play would be back to him, kind of, if he does do it. I think he's going to Addison here. Excellent patience by Osage. And great job coming to the ball and one-timing that. You could have put a little more lift on it, but that's okay. Now, see how I feel bad for this goalie. He's got 6 people back with him, and none of them went to get open. They just stayed in that kind of penalty area. Good flick by Zach. And see, you're looking. You see how you're looking there? And you made a great pass. You've got tremendous skill with both feet at being able to do any kind of touch with the ball, but you got to look. You got to look up. So as Zach flicked it to you, you see the balls coming towards you, and then you just know, okay, I'm going to get this. What am I going to do with it? And I saw you look up towards the middle of the field, saw Kaysen there. Then you looked back towards the ball because your mind was made up, I'm going to hit him. He's open. And you hit him with a perfect pass, and he got a pretty good look at the goal. Again, I have no idea what this defensive line is doing. Just 5 of them just standing back. Well, I guess 6 of them if you count the guy kicking it. Now we're at halftime. Somehow it's still 1-0. But as has happened all year, you guys wear teams down. You had, I don't recall if they had many subs. I'm seeing a lot of the same players out for them. But, you guys have better conditioning. Now, see how Jack's heading up and he's got his arm up? He's moving into that space. Now he's moving at an angle to give Walker, a feasible passing option. Now, see, he lost his positioning a little bit there. Now, that was good. Perfect timing to Walker. Terrible defense by them. And I think Walker was so surprised by the terrible defense that it kind of caught him off guard. And again, why is that goalie punting? He's just punting it to get rid of it. He's not punting. And it's part of the reason is because nobody ever gets open. So he's, makes these terrible ideas for passings. That guy gets a nice concussion for standing in the way. See, that was great. Jack gave it to Walker, and then he moved into space. Now he's got to be careful. If Jack had been moving with any bit of speed, he kind of could have caught up to that. And again, their goalie's kicking it, and their guys are running away. They're not even paying attention. Again, good. This is Walker being aggressive. But nobody else is going with him. So even if he were to gain control of that ball, none of his fellow offensive players... Can you stop eating candy? Set it down. All right, so they're doing a corner. Coach called Zach over there to do it. And again, we want one person far post, and then everyone else kind of running in. And you might want to have one person check to the ball. Wherever Addison's in, maybe just start moving towards Zach so he's got a close option if he needs to. Now, Zach has just got to lift it high. He's got to lift it. So it was a little low. Getting a little bit of soccer tennis here. And see how that ball squirts out? Since nobody had positional discipline, there was nobody there to corral it. Everyone has to run a little bit more, get a little more tired, and you kind of waste what could have been a good counter. That was just great. Harley to Addison, Addison to Harley, Harley to Addison, Addison to Harley. Well, but the idea of passing it backwards, I like that is an option in her head, right? She looks forward, doesn't see the number she wants, plays it back to Harley, moves to a better position, and then hopes that the play, goes in. And this is just awful. So what do we have? We have all 8 field players within 15 feet of the ball. They don't need that much help. So I think that was Jack that flicked it up to Walker, which was good. Walker needs to flick it back. Well, guess you're... Oh. So Walker got a nice hockey body check on that one. Yeah, Orange Shoes guy, he looks as tall as Kaysen, not as big as Kaysen, but he plays very physical. But I think on Walker's first run to goal starting this quarter, he had terrible discipline charging at Walker, and that just never works. And Walker was able to get by him, and that's where we had a good shot on goal. And again, you got the defense just clearing out. So we got to guard space. Oh, probably shouldn't have done that. We're doing soccer tennis again. So now, if Reese were to get this, the play is flicking it towards the middle. Lily almost did it. You've got Jack and Walker kind of camping there, and that's good. Truthfully, well, I guess Jack's just, he's our guy to make those passes, which is unfortunate. I wish we had more people that could do that. We do, just not on the field right now. Zach could do it. And actually, that was a good idea by Angel. Assuming that's Angel. I'm not used to her yet. That might be Addison. No. That was Angel that did that. Getting it to the middle. Again, this is good. See how Reese is guarding a person? Addison was guarding a person. Yep, she's guarding it. And that's what you need. You need to match up one person there, everyone else getting wide. Great job by Zach, realizing you had advantage numbers over there. See, the ball needs to come back now. We lost that advantage. Flick it back to the middle. Again, just the lack of discipline. All of our players are on that side of the field. Nobody's staying wide. That was almost a little too wide. Excellent kind of flick on by, well, both of them. Jack and Addison. They didn't, waste time. And again, we just go to the clump in the middle. And I think that's a lot of that because Nottoway wasn't as skilled, so they keep just kicking it to the middle, so our guys are just going there to feed. But you want to maintain that spacing. It facilitates so much better play. And again, we're doing that walk to the throw-in. All 8 players. Well, I guess 7 players. One person throwing it. see, had somebody been up there, we could have made some magic happen. Excellent steal by Walker. Kind of needs to do a cutback there. That guy had his arm on him, so it might have been a little tough. But you see how they're all in a line again? We keep kind of reverting to that. And it's, it kills our spacing. Now, Harley went wide there, and I think Angel kind of is meandering wide. And that's kind of the right idea, but we need some people to stay up front. This guy's range seems right about there. And again, somebody needs a flank to the upfield to the right. I would have Zach maybe drop back a little bit. Well, they're all walking to Zach, so it's kind of ruining his openness. Yeah, in that situation, it almost seems like Jack is almost too pass happy. That was a decent directional header. Harley wanted no part of. But again, see, we're walking over towards the throne again. All 8 of them. All right, so this is good by Walker swinging wide, giving Zach an angle. Had he not done that, he wouldn't have an angle. Ooh, if he could have flicked that onto Addison Jack, that could have been good. But it was an excellent run by Walker. Walker's always done really good runs. And what I mean by that, it doesn't mean running fast. It means running to a space where you're open and you can do something with. And I think Reese is making a decent run here. Excellent pass by Zach to kind of rifle it right to Jack. And that was a really perfect through ball by Harley. You see how that was one where it was a straight pass, but the Walker was moving at an angle. He did an angle run. Which made it a lot easier pass to connect on. But when Walker does those diagonal runs, it seems like a lot of good things happen for him. And I suspect that this Nottoway team is just tiring now. They do this weird thing. They get 3 guys right at the middle. And just, they can kind of be taken out by one defender. Wonder how good this microphone is going to pick up the audio. Our YouTube friends are going to hear Mama yelling at the baby. All right, that's the end of the third quarter, it looks like. Maybe? No. You kind of can't tell. People, they're just so lethargic looking, walking towards the sideline. And again, there's just no spacing here. You're not going to have good spacing. You're not going to have just good play without the spacing. One thing I noticed is a lot of your best plays come at the beginning and end of quarter. Well, not the end of quarters. Beginning of quarters or when the other team scores a goal. And the reason why is because you guys set up at the center circle with good spacing. And I thought that was excellent what Jack did there. Zach played it up to him. Jack got it, got control, and you see how his head immediately looked up. He started looking up, where's my guy, where's my guy? And he saw Walker, and where the perfect place to put it would be in front of Walker, but there were defenders in the way of that, so he played it a little behind him, which, again, isn't ideal, but that's one of the reasons you don't want to be on the same horizontal line, right? So the one running from coach's tent all the way to this near side of the field, because... Snuck that one in. But had Walker been on a different horizontal line, Jack probably could have got that pass right to him in stride. And what Zach did there when he scored, that's one of the things, it's an important concept, not, not definitely essential, but sometimes just getting shots on goal, good things happen. He was far away, he didn't hit it cleanly, it just kind of dribbled across the ground. Their goalie, who's been playing pretty decent up to this point, just took his eyes off and it went between his legs. And again, see how that guy gave up possession to Addison and then he kind of just gives up? Great cross by Addison. That's stuff that we didn't see from her early in the season. But it's the end of the quarter. All right. This is just phenomenal work between you two. He passed it back to you and you flicked it up to him and you stayed aggressive. I can't rewind. Recording. Got some enthusiastic clapping done by the little hypnotized tent. I guess the umbrella. But he played it back to you, and then he immediately moved. So a lot of good things happen. Coach is trying to get you guys to do it with the rondos. At the beginning of the season, you guys did well with it, and then it seemed like as the season wore on, it was just like a half hour of chatting. But he played it back to you, and then Kaysen moved, and then you played it back to him, and then already you had 3 guys beat. And then Kaysen had enough space, and he took the shot, and it was a pretty decent shot on target. And here we're doing the same thing again. See if he flicks it to you. That's the play. Good of you to stay wide and not get sucked in there. I mean, that's a phenomenal looking cross. You were a little slow getting to it. Had you... Brianna, you want to hit Brianna. You see, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world here. And granted, she's kind of walking, but the best shots are from in front of the goal. They're just the goal, from a perspective standpoint, it's much bigger. And you got it way over in the corner. That's not a good spot. Had you flicked it onto her, she could run straight onto it, which is her bread and butter. Also, you did a great job moving here. You were way over on the side. Now you're off sides in that one. You let that go. I'd play this back to Zach. But, you score, so what do I know? He had a slightly better angle. So it was kind of like when he flicked it off to you, and then you corralled it, you didn't have a great angle. He kind of started running in towards the goal. You flick it back onto him. He's got a much better angle than you did. The high-fiving is kind of stopped at this point. I think you got nothing there. And they're doing this weird thing where 3 guys in the middle, and it's so easy to just take the ball from them and then buy them. And you can see the midfield line is so far back. Yeah, easy. No, you lost the window. You see how Kaysen made that run there? You have all 7 people there guarding you. The time to make it is as right as they start to shift, but before they get to you, you got to flick it onto him and let him run onto it. That was a great idea to pass it back to Zach. I don't know what you're doing there. If you were indeed passing it there, anticipating somebody making a run, that was a good pass. Well, here we go. Toe kick goal. So that's some enthusiasm for her. But again, when your teammates score, this is a big moment for her. Addison, she hasn't scored all year. I don't think she scored in practice. You could throw her a high five. I mean, you see how excited she is. Congratulate her. At least say something. But you can see these guys are breaking down, but a lot of this is predicated upon movement. You guys are, people are doing runs to the goal while others go wide. When that happens, that's why you're breaking this team down. That and the Jack Taylor forearm shiver. And again, good. You're kind of seeing it now. This isn't time to kind of converse and kind of come to your group, see what you're missing. It's time to start setting up the defense. Somebody needs to mark each of those guys up top. And then now somebody needs to mark number 2 in the middle here. See, I think Zach took his eyes off the ball and it rolled by him. Need a little more mustard on that one. You and Kaysen are doing very well. You see how when you're doing your runs, you're kind of staying in your lanes here? If you can hit Kaysen now, that would be great. Perfect, perfect. Ugh, rough first touch. I think that Orange Shoes guy is one of the few people Kaysen doesn't necessarily have a physical advantage on. All right, you're doing a corner from that side. So, again, right foot. You probably want, and you can just wait for people. You can tell them to. All right, so it looks like Reese is getting in there. Zach's getting in there. Somebody, I would leave Kaysen there. That's a good spot for Kaysen. Maybe even come closer to you. Brianna and Addison, well, Kaysen's moving. Yeah, see, nobody came in. And that's just, it's late, I guess. Brianna probably had another second or two if she wanted to take her time with that. But again, you don't rush that corner kick. Wait till you get the guy set up, because you put it perfect. You put it plopped right in front of the goal, and just there was nobody there. And it seemed like maybe they were kind of meandering over there. Oh, turf monster, gotcha. Yeah, see how everyone's in the straight line except you? You're the only pass for him. You're the absolutely only pass. Tell me, was that a pass or a shot?
That was a pass.
You were trying to pass it to him? That's what I thought it was. And then a bunch of parents said, "Oh, great shot." I said, "Huh, I don't know what he was doing." But that was a good-looking pass, and that was perfect. You got, down the line enough so it wouldn't be offsides.
I was even with my left foot.
Well, anyways, you got down the line enough. You looked up, saw Kaysen there. You put it right to him. And in a situation like that, he only missed it by a fraction of a degree. That's pretty accurate with those passes. But again, you see how much more scoring is happening in this quarter. And a lot of it is Nottoway's tired. But it's the one quarter you guys are kind of spreading out a bit. You just push you out of the way. So here's the Kaysen if you can hit him. One extra dribble. Let's see. Is it going to cost you? Yeah, cost you. So you got to get it to him when you can get it to him. Trying to get a little bit closer. It kind of kills that spacing. Excellent pass by Zach. See, if Brando would have just been a little bit more spaced. Excellent. See, that's aggressiveness. When you're one of the offensive players, they're the most vulnerable when they first gain possession. So he got it, and since you came on him real quick, he turned and thought he had space behind him, and no, you were there, and you took it. Again, too much going on in this middle here. You got to recognize that and spread out. And if you ever feel like talking to your teammates, tell them to kind of spread out as well. And I liked in this game you had a lot more cohesion with Zach. So you see him there and you know that generally good things are going to happen. See, that was a good idea by him. It just deflected off his own player. If you can hit Kaysen, this would be good. See, Kaysen shouldn't come to you. Ugh, there you go. Good. And again, that got messed up because he's running to his left, and the timing of his kind of swing phase in his legs is to do a left-footed kick. but he didn't. He took an extra half step to try to get it with his right, and it flicked out to the side. Now here, their defense is awful. You just have to flick it high, and I would click it back a little bit, kind of right where Reese is standing now. Well, now it's kind of falling apart. And see, it just needed to be a hair higher. But that was decent placement. And you're getting better at those. Good job swinging wide. If it wasn't such a pain to do those zones earlier, it took me probably like a half hour to do them. I'd like to do them on more plays, but you swung wide to this kind of flank. Each one of those zones have a different number. I don't know the numbers. All right, again, it would be good. You guys got enough offensive players, somebody to check to you, to run to you, to see if they follow, to stretch the defense out. Maybe Zach. Although I kind of like him with his heading ability. Maybe where Kaysen is. That orange shoes guy, his kind of move is just to push people. And that's the ball game.